Hello, welcome. This is going to be a quick introduction of a web design training by ChoiceNet Technologies Limited. I am Joshua Dixon, your instructor. We are going to be looking at introduction to website design and development, and then we are concentrating on the key concepts and the tools for building a website. This is important because you may know how to design a website, but if you don't know how to use the language, it becomes a problem. When you are trying to present yourself or explain yourself to your potential customers or clients, you may not know how to use the terms. And that is why I've decided to put these together so that you can be able to understand every terms and how to use them when you are negotiating with customers. And they also, even when you want to use them, you will know exactly what you are using. Okay, so now, what is website design? The website design is the process of creating the visual layout structure and the user experience of a website. It is very important because a well-designed website enhances credibility, reaches a wider audience, and drive growth. If you visit a beautiful website and the website that the user experience is top notch, you will love the website and will love to come back to the website. And when you visit a website that is not well built, the website that is not mobile friendly, you will be irritated and you will not want to come back to the website again. So that is why your structure, your layouts, and the user experience of every website has to be, considered very carefully before, putting all the designs together. Now, for example, if you have a professional looking e-commerce site, it will attract more customers and increase sales. Now, the key elements of website design. We have six key elements. The first one is the layout. Just like architectural drawing, the layout arrangement matters a lot. Okay, so the when you hear layout is the structure and the arrangement of a content on a website. Okay, so after the layout, the next thing you need to consider is the color scheme. Color scheme is a harmonious combination of colors so that when somebody come to your website, it will not be what people normally call color riot. Okay, so your color, the colors of you are going to use on the website should represent your brand, should promote your brand, just like what you are seeing on this slide. So if I had used so many colors, when you come to this slide, you may not even like it. So the color combination of any website should represent the brand and it should be simple so that users will love it. The next key element is your typography. This is concerns the choice of fonts and the text styling, imagery, use, and every other things. Okay, so we when you talk about the typography, it has to do with the fonts and the text styling of your website. And then when we look at another key element is the imagery. So it is use of images, icons, and graphics on your website. So these are the imageries that we need to consider. So your image needs to be very sharp and high quality. The icons and the graphics needs to be designed to project the brand you are trying to promote. The next thing is navigation. Navigation is how users move around the site. Okay, so if you want the users to move around the way they ought to move, you have to position your navigations and everything where it will be easy for the users to move around. And then the last one is user experience, which is normally called UX. Okay, so it is ensuring ease of use and the value for visitors. Okay, when you are building a website, you should build it in a way that when a user visits the website, the person should enjoy it and then the navigations and everything on the website should be very, very easy to understand and very simple. So if you cluster so many things together and confuse the user, they will not have a good user experience and they will not want to come back. Okay, so now we talk about hosting, because no matter what you do, hosting is one of the most important elements in web design, because after building your website, you need a place where your website will live in the cloud. Your hosting is just like the land. I'm using the buildings as example. No matter how you draw your building on a sheet of paper, if you don't have a plot of land to put it there, it is useless, because the building will only remain on paper. So no matter how you visualize and you want to build your website, if you don't have a hosting where your website will live, it is just like you have not started. So web hosting is a service that allows you to post a website on the internet. So that means after designing your website, the elements, the imageries, the fonts, the colors and everything, you need to put it in the web server where the users can be able to access it over the internet. Okay, so now there are few types of hosting that you need to be aware of. The first one is share hosting, and it is share hosting because multiple websites share the same server. Okay, so and it is always recommended for small business owners, and if you want to create a portfolio website or small e-commerce stores, share hosting is the best to go for, because it will help you to save money. Okay, so the next one is the VPS. Okay, Visual Private Server. It is a type of hosting that has a dedicated resources, so it is higher than web hosting. Okay, so and this is a kind of hosting that people use when you want to use some run some heavy applications on the cloud server. Okay, you can use a VPS. We also have a dedicated hosting. Okay, dedicated hosting is a hosting that a single server is dedicated to one website. It is actually pretty much expensive to actually have a dedicated hosting. So just like if you are building something like social media network, so you are going for a dedicated hosting because many people will be uploading videos and so many content, and so you need a dedicated server for it to be able to run smoothly. Okay. And then there is another one that is higher that is called cloud hosting. Okay. Cloud hosting uses multiple servers for scalability. Just like when you look at Google. Okay. If you look at Google, you will be seeing, if you are in Nigeria, you will see google.com /ng. Okay, so it's using a server that is dedicated for Nigerians. And likewise, if you go to US, you will also see that it changes to US. So this is a hosting that actually uses multiple multiple servers to manage their workload, because it cannot run on one server. So they have to use a multiple server to be able to scale their platform. Okay, so now choosing a plan, you have to consider the traffic. There are some web hosting that when you want to purchase, they will tell you that it is only 500 people that are allowed to visit this website per month or per week or per day. So always look at it. So if you have a platform that you have more than 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or 5,000 people visiting it, so you should know that the one that is telling you is only 500 people is a no-go area. Okay, So secondly, you also need to consider your budget. Okay, so if you have the money to go for a higher hosting capacity, you can actually go. And also some is technical needs. Okay, so because there are some hosting that will tell you, oh, we are going to give you XYZ, but you are not going to be having email. Okay, we are not also going to give you SSL certificate, which is security, okay, of the website. So you are going to purchase those ones differently. Okay, so or maybe some of these application cannot run on our on this particular cloud server. So you have to consider all those things. So if what you need is not there, or it is there, it will determine whether you are going to purchase them or not purchase them. So these are the things you need to consider before purchasing a hosting server. Okay, now the next important element that we also need to consider is your domain. Okay, a domain is a unique name that identifies a website, like example.com or yourname.com. Okay, so I want to also redefine it. A domain is just like an address to your office. As you know already, there is no plaza that will give you an office number and you also find the same number in that same plaza again. Okay, so the number of your office is dedicated to you. So just like a domain name is a name that only you will have in this world. So anybody that types in the name, the your website will pop up for the person to you visit. Okay, so and the domain are like are linked to IP address via the domain name system. Okay, so before now, the domain usually used to be a long list of numbers, which is called IP addresses. Okay, so if you want to visit Mr. A website, you need to type those numbers like phone number that we have. And so as time progresses, a technology evolve, and they say instead of us typing this number, let us allow people to just write a name. So once you write your name and then you get your domain, what happens is when somebody type those domain on the website or the search engine, automatically that name will be converted to that IP address, which people will find it difficult to type. And that is why it is only you that have your domain name. You cannot see it anywhere in the world. Now, choosing the domain is also very, very important. Okay, so there are things you need to consider. One, keep it short and memorable. Keep it short and memorable. Okay, just like you will see Facebook. When you remember first and book, it will stick, you know in your memory. You will not be able to forget it. You can see Jumia, Konga. You see, you have to make sure that you keep it short and easy to remember. It is very, very important. Okay, avoid numbers and hyphens. Okay, stop saying my name, my website is the XYZ dot 123 hyphen for. Nobody will have time to be remembering all those things. So make sure that you keep it short, and also the way it sounds, let it be the way it could be written. Okay, so it is very, very important that your domain name is easy to be remembered. Now, use relevant keywords. Relevant keywords is, if possible, use the words that people can easily relate to. Okay, so don't use a word that somebody will not be able to remember, or when somebody want to type it, the person will be be irritated. Okay, so if you look at example Amazon.com, you already know that Amazon is, yeah, apart from using it as a domain name, it means something. So people can easily remember it, and they can also be able to write it as they pronounce it. It's easy to remember and relevant to the brand. Okay, so make sure that you do that when you are choosing your domain name. Now, there's another thing that is called a subdomain. Okay, a subdomain is a prefix added to the main domain, creating a separate section. For example, blog.example.com or your website.com. If you look at Google, Google has so many subdomains surrounding their platform. Okay, so if you look at, you can see something like shop.google.com. So that is their shop. Okay, so you can see like drive.google.com. Okay, those are subdomains. Subdomain is a domain created from the main domain. Okay, so you can use it to build a complete website, okay, on its own. Okay, but it cannot exist without the main domain. So when you add a prefix to the main domain, you can be able to create a subdomain. And then what are the uses? It is used to organize content, just like I told you. Subdomain, Google can create for Nigerians, okay, or can use it to create a particular section, let's say their Google Drive, their Gmeet, and all the rest of the things that are offered by them. The Google can use subdomain to create that, okay, to target different audience. Let's say, like I mentioned, Nigeria, US, and all the rest of them. So they can use it to target different audience, and then give them the content that they need. Just like if you look at something like Netflix, you can see that when you come to Nigeria, okay, to subscribe Netflix, the amount they are charging you is different from what they will charge the people in the US. Because once you are in the US and you are using a US IP, once you try to visit Netflix, immediately it will redirect you to the page for those who are based in US to sign in. And then once you log in there, you will see a different price. That is how it is across the whole world. So it is used to target a specific people. And thirdly, you can use it to test new features of your website. Okay, let's say there are new features you want to integrate into your website. Instead of you integrating it directly, you can create a subdomain and use that subdomain to integrate those things and test it to make sure that it is working and that it will not interrupt the operation of your website. So when you are satisfied, you can now move it to your main website. So that is what it is used for. So example, like I mentioned, is a shop.google.com. Is a subdomain for Google shopping section. Okay, so this is very important, and as we proceed, we will be able to learn how to create all those subdomain. Okay, the next one is add-on domain. Okay, add-on domain is a separate domain hosted within the same account as your primary domain. Okay, for example, when you are purchasing a web hosting, okay, some web hosting will tell you that on this plan or package you are buying, that you can build more than one website. Some will tell you you can build three, some say you can build 5, 10, some will even say unlimited. Okay, so now when you acquire or buy those domain that particular hosting, when you are building a second website, you are not buying another hosting. Rather, what you are going to buy is a domain. Okay, so and you are going to buy the domain in the same account where you have the hosting, and that is what is called add-on domain. Okay, so this add-on domain is a domain added to the account that you have a hosting in already. Okay, so that is what it is. And what is the difference between the add-on domain and subdomain? Add-on domain are completely separate website. It is completely separate website and completely separate from the main domain. Okay, so it is a separate thing. So whether the main domain that you first bought when you were buying your hosting expires or not, the add-on domain still remain because it is a separate domain. Why subdomain are extension of the main domain and cannot exist without the main domain. Okay, so now uses of add-on domain. hosting multiple websites. Let's say, for instance, as you are learning this, maybe you are learning it to start building website for clients. Some people will just give you money and say, build website for me. So if you had already purchased a hosting that can take more than one website, you don't need to buy anything again. The only thing you need to buy is just the domain name, and they add it to your current hosting and then build a website for them. Okay, sometimes you charge people 200, 300,000. Normally, if you have the hosting already, you are going to spend maybe something like 20,000 out of it just to get a domain and add to your hosting and then build your website for the people and then keep the whole the remaining change. Okay, so now managing different projects. Okay, so you can use it to manage different projects. Example, using example.com for a main business site, and then example2.com for a blog. So you can use it to do whatever you want to do separate from your main domain. Okay, so now when you are talking about website development, okay, there are two aspects to it. We have front end design, and then we have also back end development. Front end development and back end development. Okay, so what we are going to be learning is front end development. So what is a front end development? A front end development creates the part of the website user can interact with, just like what you can see here. Okay, so and the technologies that are used are HTML, which is hypertext markup language, and this language is used to create the structure of the website. Okay, so when we talk about the structure, you can see this is a layout, this is layout, this is, this structure. You see that it creates just the structures of the website. Okay, giving it this is a separate column, and this is a separate column, and this is a separate column. Okay, so now after the HTML, the next one is CSS, which is cascading style sheet. Okay, is used for styling the and the appearance of the website. Okay, so you can see the designs, the colors, the text, and everything. Okay, is controlled by the CSS. Okay, the next one is JavaScript. Okay, the JavaScript is used for the interactivities and the dynamic content. Okay, so for example, you click on this button, you see a form is submitted. Okay, so you click and then you are directed to another page. So you just use for the interactivities of the website. Okay, so this is what all these things are used for. Okay, and then when you master this, you have mastered the front end development. Okay, though we are not going to actually be coding, because I see many people rush into learning how to build website through coding, and then you will see after promising them after 1 month, 2 months you will learn it, they will come back without actually being able to build any websites. Okay, so it is very, very wrong. Okay, so now it is proving that before you can be able to master this, you are at least going to give it a 1 year. Okay, for you to be able to master it. So we are not actually going to code, so don't be scared. So we are actually going to use what is called content management system to build any kind of website that you desire to build without actually struggling. Okay, so now moving forward, we have the back end development. Okay, back end development involve server side programming, databases, and the server management. Okay, this is what happens behind the scene that we cannot be able to see. Okay, and so when you are learning back-end development, the technologies you have to consider is server, provide resources and the services, database, the stores and manage data, APIs allow different software systems to communicate. Okay, wherever you see APIs is always application programming interface. That is the full meaning. Okay, so the back end controls what we can see. Okay, and the what it controls the front end, but you cannot see it. So if you are learning a back end development, these are the technologies to concentrate and learn. Okay, and so for example, user authentication, database queries, and the server logic are all what you get using the back end technology. Okay, so now we talk about content management system. Okay, a content management system or CMS is software that allow users to create, manage, and modify website content without technical knowledge. Okay, so this sounds good. It's not everybody that wants to go into coding, and the many who have tried it is just like 10% that have succeeded. Okay, it is very difficult. It's not something that you can just wake up one morning and you start doing. But with the advent of technology, the there is what we call a content management system, and this system can allow anybody, even a child, to be able to build a website, because you can do it without any technical knowledge. Okay, and the examples of this content management system are WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Magento, and all the rest of them. There are thousands of them. Okay, so and the benefit is to use, easy to use, fast development, customizable with themes and plugins, collaborative content management, and it is very, very easy. So, example, you can use a WordPress to create and manage blog without any coding. Okay, so that is what a content management system is, used for, and that is exactly what we are going to be using for this our training. Okay, so now why is CMS better for beginners? It is its ease of use, intuitive interface, the speed and development, quick setup and content management, less technical knowledge required, no need to learn programming languages, support and community, large communities and extensive documentation. So it is very, very easy for beginners because you don't need any, programming. So, but you will learn programming when you understand how the website operates and how it functions. Okay, so it is very, very easy, and that is why we'll use it. So now, among all the content management system out there, the most important popular one is WordPress. Okay, and it is the best content management system. So why is it the best? WordPress is a free open source content management system powering over 40% of websites in the world. So there are billions of websites in the world, and the WordPress is powering 40% of, of them. So that is to show you how popular it is. Many big websites you see are built using WordPress. Okay, so now the key features. It is very extensive with themes and plugins and libraries. User-friendly interface, SEO-friendly structure, because no matter how beautiful your website is, if it is not SEO friendly, there will be a problem because it will not be able to rank on Google. Okay, so SEO means search engine optimization. Search engine optimization. Okay, so now strong community support for something that is powering 40% of the websites in the world. Without any doubt, there is actually strong community for it. So, and that is why we are going to be using WordPress because it is very popular. Now, we talk about cPanel and the E sections. What is cPanel? cPanel is a web-based control panel for managing web hosting tasks. Okay, so whenever you purchase a web hosting, you are going to have access to what is called cPanel. Okay, so this cPanel is where you are going to be installing your WordPress and the other applications, creating your webmail. Instead of using at gmail.com, you can use at your website.com. Create a professional email for your business, especially business owners. So if you are sending emails now and you are still using yahoo.com, gmail.com, people that are serious will look see you as somebody who is not serious. But when you use at, let's say, info at choicenet.com, people will know that yes, this business is a serious business. So you can create those ones free from cPanel after you have purchased your hosting. Okay, now the key sections of cPanel, we have file. This is where you manage all your files and backup. We have databases, create and manage database. Domain, manage domain and subdomains. Email, set up and manage email accounts. Metrics, monitor traffic and resource usage. Security, manage SSL, firewall settings, etc. We have software section, install web applications, and that is where we are installing the WordPress. And we have advanced, access advanced feature like Chrome jobs, and we also have preference where we customize the cPanel. Okay, so when we get into that, you will actually see how it looks and how easy it is for you to be able to, install all those applications. We have a webmail. Webmail allow you to access emails account via a web browser. Okay, so and that is you creating your company email is what the webmail is used, and how to use it, log in through hosting providers interface or URL. Okay, so that is how you use it. So now the advantage: accessible from any device, no software installation needed, and they're integrated with hosting service. Okay, so when we get there, we will surely know exactly how to get those things done.